Hello and welcome to episode 67 of SoccerCraft. As you can see in that opening time lapse, we're still making a lot of progress here on Ba Sing Se, but I think for today's video, I want to step away from Ba Sing Se for a little bit. And that's going to bring us to one of our first builds ever on the world, Kyoshi Island. You see, when I built Kyoshi Island, I had a plan for something I wanted to add here, but I didn't have the Minecraft skills at the time to pull it off. But I've learned a few things that we're going to go over about creative building in this video, and I'm going to show you how I'm planning to add a giant eel, the Unagi, out just past this Fire Nation ship. And if we come over to my creative world, I want to show you that I've already got started building the Unagi. Actually, it's already done. But I want to show you how I built it using the creative tools of Axiom. Axiom is a very, very powerful creative Minecraft building tool. And I use that to help me design and build this giant Unagi organic. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So step one for building the Unagi was just getting things shaped out with wool. So over here you can see that everything's kind of just set to a wool color, and then I was able to go through and use a tool to texture it out. But really the first place we started with was the main body of the Unagi, and there's a really powerful tool in Axiom which can help us do that, which is the line tool. So to open up Axiom, we're going to press our right shift, and it's going to open up the Axiom editor menu where we have a whole bunch of tools that can help us do a whole lot of cool things in Minecraft. I'm going to select the path tool, and we're going to choose a Bezier curve, and we can select our first point and drag it out so that it's separate from the other point. So now in this menu, we can adjust the size of it and have it use stairs and slabs and a whole bunch of options. But really, I feel like it becomes more powerful once you start creating other points. So I'm going to press the E key on my keyboard, and it's going to allow me to place another point down. And then we can do another point and another point and another point. And you can see that it's starting to create a very smooth line which we can then modify so that it becomes the body of the Unagi. So now that we have all these points, we can start adjusting their positions to kind of try to make it shaped a little bit more like the Unagi. So now that we have our line looking a little bit like our eel shape that we're looking for, we can go to each point and come over to the menu here, and we see override radius. And then we can choose the thickness of each specific point. So I'm going to come to this one, override radius, raise it up a little bit. We'll say 5. And then we'll go through all of these middle ones, setting them all to 5. And then once we get to these end ones, we can change it to being a 4. And then our last one here, we can just have it set to being 1 or a 2. And that creates a lot more of an actual, more realistic body shape for our eel or snake or dragon or whatever type of organic we're trying to make using this method. And now before I paste this into the world, I'm just going to change this so that it's in black wool, so we can do more stuff with it later and texture it. Then I'm going to press enter, and it's going to be pasted into the world. Now there's a lot of other cool things we can do to help us continue with texturing this out, but in order to get a better looking head, we can go to the shape tool, and we can pick any sort of shape that we think will give us the head shape. So I'm going to pick this cone, and I'm going to adjust the cone's parameters until it's starting to get to a shape that I kind of like. And we can adjust the positioning of how we want the cone, and then we can kind of place this into the front. And then if we come over to this modifier here and select Metaball, it is going to start trying to fuse it with the other blocks that are there, giving us this unique shape, and then we can move it from here until we're happy with it. All right, I think this is looking pretty good. We press enter, and that just adds onto our shape that we have. So now that we have the basic shape of what our eel is going to look like here, we can start painting on to separate different parts so that it gets textured differently. So I'm just going to position myself just underneath here so I can kind of try to just paint out the belly of the creature. And we're going to switch to our painter tool. We're going to look in our tool mask, which you can get to by coming to the top and clicking edit. And we're just going to go to examples, single block, and we're going to make our black wool our tool mask. We don't want to close this. We just want to minimize it, tuck it off into the corner. And now when we're painting, we're only going to paint over black wool. So now we select a different block and we adjust the size of our paintbrush. And we can just hold down, right click, and kind of paint in where we imagine the belly of the creature to be. Now, I didn't like that so much, so I'm going to try to adjust it a little bit and get a better perspective so we can get underneath. And we can go back through and just make it a little bit wider where it needs to be. And then you're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. And the more time you spend on it, the better it looks. I just did this quickly, but you get the idea. You've now separated what is the belly of the beast from the rest of the beast. And now at this point, you can kind of just go back into regular creative mode and kind of use that belly to kind of figure out where you want to put some spikes. So we can have a spike coming up here, kind of in a diagonal fashion. And once you've got one spike, it's pretty easy to just continue that pattern all the way down. You kind of just want to make sure it's on the opposite side of the belly. And then you can go in and add a few more details, just like the mustache that we had for our eel. Or you can put in some eyeballs where you think you want those to go. And kind of just try to get all of that type of stuff squared out so that when it is time to actually detail it, we know where that stuff is going to go. And of course, if this wasn't an eel, you can start adding in wings using similar features, using line tools to shape out the wings, and then you can even copy and paste that wing using Axiom, and there's so many powerful things that you can do with it. But once you get to a point where you're happy with all the extras, you can start detailing it, and I'll show you how to do that on this one over here. So in order to detail this, we're going to hop back into the editor tool through right shift, and we're going to choose the noise painter this time. And with the noise painter, you can paint on several different blocks over one surface to kind of give it some texture. There's a whole bunch of different features that you can play around with to get it to look perfect for what you need. But we're just going to quickly go over it and how I used it to do this. Well, first things first, we need to pick which block we're looking to replace, and it's all this black wool. And then we can come down here and select which blocks we're going to place it with. So we're going to say, like, I think I did blackstone, I did cracked blackstone, or was it deep slate? I think it was, no, cracked blackstone. I think we had coal blocks. I think I had obsidian. I think I had skulk, and I think there was one more. Deep slate copper ore. I think all of these look pretty good together, and you can choose what percentage these blocks come in. I wish before I finally got happy with it, I thought about how difficult it is to collect that deep slate copper ore, because I've collected all of it needed to build the Unagi, and I needed to get a lot of it. So I'm going to lower this down to like a 5.5. And I'll say the most common block is going to be our blackstone, and maybe we'll go a little bit less in these three categories as well, and a little bit higher in the blackstone until it equals something that will be 100%. And then we can just paint over, and it's only going to paint over all of these black wool blocks that we have here, and it's going to give us something, and we can see if we like it. If we don't like it, we can come back and change the noise profile, try a meta ball, try a Whirly, and see which works best for us. All right, I'm liking the look of this Whirly one. It kind of reminds me of Scales, which is kind of what I want to go for here. So let's try to paste this over all of our black wool. And once we're happy with that, we can try on the next color. So we'll change our tool mask to this gray wool. And we'll select a different set of blocks. All right, we have a new selection of blocks selected, and we'll just start pasting this over all of our gray blocks and see how we feel about it. And then once you've gone through and textured everything, then yeah, it's pretty much ready to go. Then the one last thing you can do is select it and make it hollow. So now in order to make it hollow, we're just going to select it. We're going to choose the magic select tool, select it solid, and then just click on our thing here and it'll be all selected. And then we can just go up to operations, select hollow, and it will have made this hollow. We can go back into creative mode, fly into the inside of it, and we will be able to see that it is hollow. And yeah, that is basically what I did in order to make the Unagi. I did spend a little bit more time with the details, and I think I'm really happy with it. The one problem I'm having right now is I was planning on building this version of the Unagi over here, but I think I like the texturing on this one better. So I kind of just have to hope that I have all the blocks, because I collected all the blocks for this one. Here's hoping I have all the blocks for this one as well. So now in order to get the Unagi into my world, we're going to open up Lightmatica and we're going to take a schematic of it. So I'm going to select that glass block at the top corner of the build at this point, and then there should be another glass block just down here. Okay, now that that's selected, our whole build should be within this area. I'm going to select this, go into the Lightmatica menu, and we will call this Unagi Hollow version 2. And set that and save it to our schematics. And now we can come back into the Soccercraft world and place it in. I've already got where I want it in. And I think based on how this schematic preview is looking, I think this is gonna look pretty epic by the time we're done. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop into a time lapse, go into a live stream, get this built up, and we'll see how it's looking. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. We got the Unagi all built up. and I'm super happy with it. It took me 2 live streams, but we got it done, and I learned so much in the process of building this. I'm going to go over what I learned with you now. So first off, the really big thing that I learned is Lightmatica isn't very easy to get working underwater. So if this video's inspired you at all to make any sea creatures in your world, pay attention to what I'm about to say. So first of all, when you have a schematic that goes into water and you go underwater, you just are not able to see it. So the first thing you want to do is open up your Lightmatica, go to configuration and go to visuals, and we want to click ignore existing fluids and render colliding schematic blocks. This means now if we go underwater, we should be able to see the rest of the blocks that we need to place. And the second, more important thing is that by default, Lightmatica's easy place does not work underwater, so you have to change a few settings to get that working. So you want to open up Lightmatica, go to configuration, go to generic, and you're looking for easy place first. If easy place first is true, it'll place the closest block in front of you, meaning that all the water that's in front of you is stopping you from being able to place all the blocks in the background. If we come back here and set this to false, we can now ignore all the water in front of us and it will easy place the blocks. And let me just say, the first stream where I was building this and easy place wasn't working, it was a total pain. But then we got easy place working and the rest of the build went up no problem. And with that being said, I think that's all the time we have for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope this inspired you to also want to make a giant organic in your world and try out Axiom. I know I've been using Axiom a lot more lately, and I think we're going to have some pretty cool Axiom builds in the future to add to this world. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this Unagi build. I know I did. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Water Tribe out.